What is going on, everybody? It's Jeff Lights Jr. here with the Black Boss channel. Thank you guys for all the support. Continue to hit the like, share, subscribe button as we go live all the time. We post all kinds of video from the black man perspective. And today we're going to touch on an interesting one. It is the fight between Floyd Mayweather and YouTube star personality, whatever he is, Logan Paul. And a lot of people have been asking me, why in the hell would Floyd Mayweather agree to fight a YouTuber? Because that's essentially what Logan Paul is. He's best known for YouTube. He has done all the YouTube stuff. And his brother, Jake Paul, not Logan Paul, but Jake Paul was the brother that knocked out Nate Robinson. Had Nate Robinson take a deep sleep. You know what I'm saying? Almost a permanent nap. Had him knocked out, had all the memes going everywhere. We're just waiting for a few more people to join. And we're about to dive right into this topic and dive into some comments that Floyd said about taking on fights like this, like exhibition style fights. Because we got to remember that this is an exhibition style fight. We got a nice little crowd going on here. So I'm just going to send this out really quick. But this is going to be a fun topic, guys. And be sure to leave your comments because we're going to be talking about this. And I really want to know what you all have to say about what's going on with Floyd Mayweather and his fight against YouTube star Logan Paul. And so here's the thing about Floyd. We all know Floyd Mayweather. He's been a celebrity for a very, very long time. He's been in the boxing ring. He's been a world champion. He's won belts at all different types of levels. We know Floyd Mayweather's 50-0. He's 50-0. Like, if you guys don't know, he's 50. He's won 55 professional fights. Hasn't lost one professionally, right? Like, he hasn't lost a fight professionally up against guys who do this for a living. And now Logan Paul wants to challenge Floyd. So here's the thing. So for the guys who don't know, Jake and Logan Paul are YouTube guys. They're guys that made a bunch of money doing YouTube vlogs and doing all kinds of silly stuff and funny little skits and all kinds of stuff. And they came up on the age. I think Logan Paul is the same age as me. So I think he's 25. And they started YouTube in probably like when they were like 20 or 18 or something. They've been doing it for quite a while. And they built such a huge following, right? They built this big old following, and that's how they got their name. And so now they're transitioning. They're getting older. And so they wanted to find something to do. They're like, okay, YouTube only lasts me so long. So now they've gotten into boxing. So I'm just trying to give you a little context, a little history about these two guys, Jake and Logan Paul. And so now they're like wanting to dive into something new because they were getting in a lot of trouble. I think Logan Paul he got into some real trouble with YouTube. I think they took a lot of his content down and may have banned his page for a while. He got into some trouble because, like I said, they were vloggers, and he went out to Japan, and Japan has a forest that they call Suicide Forest. And he went there, he showed a dead body. Like, he showed the body of someone who had committed suicide in this forest. I have a buddy that's in the Navy, and he told me this place is real. Like, so there was a suicide forest. He showed a body of someone who was actually deceased, and he got like banned from YouTube for a while. So anyway, they're trying to dive into these different little categories, and boxing is one of them. So it started with Jake, the guy who knocked out Nate Robinson. He's going on here. These guys talk a lot of cash, like talk a lot of smack, right? And so he gets the fight with Nate Robinson, knocks him out. He knocks Nate Robinson out. It's all over the internet. Whoa, my God. Whoa, it's crazy. Jake Paul knocks out Nate Robinson because Nate Robinson was this veteran NBA player. Nate Robinson was a guy who played in college basketball and college football. Nate Robinson was a 3-time slam dunk champion. Nate Robinson played 10 years in the NBA, was the professional athlete. So everybody, and he's black. Let's be honest. Nate Robinson black. Jake Paul is a built. Don't get me wrong. He's a built white dude. Like he's a built. He's athletic build. You know, he was definitely in shape. But see, Nate Robinson just thought, I'm black. I'm an athlete, a professional athlete, and I can just go in here and beat up on this little white boy. And that wasn't the case. Jake Paul has been training in boxing. Jake Paul knew what the hell he was doing when he stepped into that ring. Jake Paul was ready for blood. Jake Paul is bigger than Nate Robinson. So all of that played factors into Nate getting knocked out. So let's just lay that out there. So on the other hand, 4 months, even before Nate got knocked out, Logan Paul has been on social media antagonizing Floyd Mayweather. Logan Paul has been making all kinds of videos about Floyd, about how he wants to fight him. Him and his brother just, trying to get these big name people. Like his brother was going after Manny Pacquiao, and then the Tyson and Roy Jones thing came about, and they needed an undercard. They needed people to fill the time slot, and why not get a social media guy who has tens of millions of followers on Instagram and on YouTube, and get Nate Robinson, who's just a professional athlete. And it worked out for Triller and for Roy Jones and them, because people bought that, and it was circulating throughout the internet because Nate got his ass knocked out by Jake Paul. So for months, Logan Paul has been antagonizing Floyd because, as we all know, Floyd took the fight against Conor McGregor, right? Conor McGregor is also a professional fighter, but he's a UFC fighter. UFC and boxing is different. Floyd fought Conor in a boxing match because he knew he could beat the hell out of Conor in boxing. He knew he could beat him in boxing. You can't use your feet in boxing. You have different gloves in boxing. You have different techniques, different stamina in boxing. And that's what happened with Conor. That's actually what happened with Nate in his fight against Jake Paul. So Logan Paul has been calling out Floyd for months, telling him sign the contract while he's punching the punching bag and talking about Floyd can't read and all, the same jokes Floyd been getting for years, right? And Floyd has ignored it for months, have not showed Jake Paul or Logan Paul, any of the Pauls, any attention. He hasn't showed them any attention. But as soon as Jake, the little brother, knocks out Nate, and his name is ringing bells in a lot of different circles, their name is hot. Their name is everywhere. Their name is getting attention because he knocked out Nate Robinson. It was the number one meme in the internet. It was the number one meme on the internet for a week, for 2 weeks, for as long as it was out. It was the number one meme. It was the number one circulated video. Nate Robinson getting knocked out with the Snoop Dogg commentary, all the whole 9 yards. The number one meme. Maybe the number one meme of 2020. With all the depressing stuff we've been through with COVID, we ain't been able to do much. We ain't been got outside much. It was the number one meme. So what does Floyd do? Jake Paul or Logan Paul, I don't care. The name is ringing bells. The name is out there. The name is being known. The name is known by people who would have never talked about Jake. I'm talking about it. Jake Paul, Logan Paul. Because I ain't never talked about them dudes. But the name is ringing. Now it's my time to capitalize. It wasn't my time before anybody knew who the hell these guys were. It wasn't my time before the Nate Robinson knockout. It wasn't my time, when this guy was just calling me out and his little, YouTube people or, hype about it or whatever. Because YouTube people don't buy pay-per-view. I can tell you that. YouTube folks don't buy pay-per-view. No, they don't. YouTube is free. Pay-per-view is $50. They ain't buying pay-per-view. That's why Jake Paul only got paid $600 in that knockout against Nate. $600 pre-fight, and then they paid him whatever the pay-per-view buys were. Because they like, man, YouTube, we don't know if YouTube calculates into dollars. We don't know if YouTube guys calculate into pay-per-view buys. But now we do, because he knocked someone out. And we all know, anybody that knows anything about Floyd Mayweather, anybody that knows anything about boxing, anybody that knows anything about sports, we all know that people tune in to Floyd Mayweather fights to watch him lose. We all know they tune in to watch him lose. It never happens. It has yet to happen. But people watch Floyd Mayweather fights to watch because he is so cocky, he is so arrogant, he is so flashy, and he lets you know he makes so much money, and he lets us all know about it. And people just, it infuriates them. It pisses them off. And maybe it should, like being cocky and flashy. And, it's some people's style and some others. So there's that aspect. There's also the aspect that Floyd Mayweather did go to jail for domestic violence. So a lot of people still hate him for that. Floyd Mayweather has been to jail for domestic violence. Floyd Mayweather put his hands on a woman. So people still remember that. That didn't just escape folks' mind just because you won a couple belts. A lot of folks ain't forgot about that. You beat up a woman. That's not cool. We need to protect our black queens. We need to be putting our hands on them. We need to be beating them up. But that happened. That happened. I mean, it happened with Floyd. Say what you want, but it is a reality. But anyway, Floyd Mayweather is an opportunist. He is a capitalist. He is someone here to capitalize on on what's taking place. Conor McGregor, when Floyd fought Conor McGregor, he was the hottest name in UFC. There wasn't a bigger ticket in UFC. There wasn't a bigger name. There wasn't a bigger person. There wasn't a bigger person in UFC with a bigger brand, a bigger following, the most notoriety. Like all of it was Conor McGregor. And people actually believed Conor could beat Floyd because Conor was bigger, because Conor was younger, because Conor was hungry, because Conor, can fight. We've seen he can fight. But Conor's not a boxer, y'all. Conor beats people in the octagon. Floyd's a tactician in the ring. In the ring. Octagon and a ring is two totally different spaces. Two totally different spaces. But if Conor was this unknown whatever in UFC, Floyd wouldn't have took that fight. And what happened from the fight? Conor McGregor made $100 million. Floyd Mayweather made $200 million because they knew the UFC fans buy pay-per-view. That's how Conor McGregor's so well known. That's why the UFC's doing so well. UFC fans buy pay-per-view. So that would resonate. That will translate into dollars. And they went on a world tour. They went on a world tour promoting this fight, talking cash to each other, telling each other they can't read. Dance for me, boy. Dance for me. All of that crazy stuff. They went on a world tour to promote this fight. And it came out, both of them won. Conor ain't even been the same fighter since he got a $100 million payday. He has not been the same fighter in UFC at all. He's taken a loss. And he doesn't seem like is interested. He's done a lot of dumb stuff off the outside of the octagon. He just don't seem interested anymore. Because he made $100 million in 90 seconds. In 90 seconds, he made $100 million. So he's just not as interested. So back to Logan Paul. So Logan Paul and his brother Jake Paul, their names are circulating. Their names are out there. Their names are hot right now. Super hot. So what does Floyd do? He ignored the man for months. The man has called him out, millions of views on the internet, millions of followers, millions of people atting Floyd Mayweather. And he's ignored it. He's put it all to the side. But now that his name is hot, now that his name is bubbling, now that his name, people that would have never known who the hell Jake Paul was or Logan Paul was, now that they do after the Nate fight, after the #1 trending topic on Twitter, on Instagram, on social media, on Facebook, or whatever platform you use, now that they're well known, hell yeah, Floyd's going to take the fight. Hell yeah, Floyd Mayweather is going to take the fight against the YouTuber. He is going to take this fight. And here's why. Because it is a easy, guys. Remember, listen to me when I say this. This is going to be the easiest $20 million Floyd has ever made. 20, 30, 40 million, whatever it is. The easiest. Somebody said, wait, Floyd? Oh, wow. Yes, Floyd Money Mayweather is going to fight a YouTuber by the name of Logan Paul. Now, Logan Paul is 25 years old. I just looked it up. Logan Paul is 6'2". I think he's about 200 pounds. And he's 25 years old. Floyd Mayweather is about 5'7", maybe 5'6". He never fought over like 155. He never fought. I think the highest Floyd ever went was like 155. I think that was the highest. It was as heavy as he's ever been. So this guy's going to easily be between 50 and 60 pounds heavier than Floyd. It's going to be 7-8 inches taller than Floyd. But it's still going to be the easiest $30-40 million he's ever made. And here's why. This guy is a YouTuber. Here's the thing. Nate is a basketball player. If Nate played one-on-one against Jake Paul, or hell, he could play 2-on-1, the two brothers, Jake and Logan Paul, he'd beat the hell out of them 21-0 probably. But because he's a basketball player. But in the boxing ring, you neutralized his basketball skills. His basketball skills mean nothing in the boxing ring because it's a boxing ring. So Jake Paul trained for a year. He's bigger than Nate. He's probably just as fast as Nate now. Nate's like 35, maybe older, maybe like closer to 40. He's bigger than Nate. He's trained for a year of boxing. And he got in there and it showed. Nate is never a boxer. Nate's a basketball player. They play one-on-one, it'd be different. But boxing, it was lights out for Nate. Floyd Mayweather's a boxer. This is what he did professionally for 25 years, for nearly 30 years. and never lost. He never lost. The man went undefeated for a reason. You don't think it was folks out there trying to knock his ass out? They were trying to win. In those 50, 51 professional fights Floyd had, the other folks, Pacquiao and all them other guys, was Canelo and Ricky Hatton and whoever the hell else you can name, Oscar De La Hoya. They were trying to knock that man's brains out. They were trying to whoop him, but they couldn't because he's that good. He's one of the all-time great boxers ever. One of the all-time great boxers to ever touch the ring. Logan Paul's not going to stand a chance. He is not going to stand a chance against Floyd. Now, this is an interesting question. This is an interesting question by Simone P. Thank you, Ms. Simone P, for this question. Is this good for his legacy, though? I mean, get your money, dog, but question mark. So here's the thing about, yes, that is a very good question. Is this good for Floyd's legacy? I mean, honestly, probably. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, nobody's going to remember this. Well, here's a couple things. The thing, there's two parts to what Miss Simone just asked. I'm going to pull it up one more time. Yes, get your money, but is this good for your legacy? Here's the thing about the legacy thing. Look at some of the all-time great boxers and how they went out. A lot of them went out getting beat. They have losses on the record. A lot of them went out and they had permanent either brain damage or senses damage. My guy, Ali, who's right over my shoulder right here, and this is the Ali Summit back in the 60s. He's from my hometown, Louisville, Kentucky. Ali wasn't the same. He wasn't the same man after his boxing career was over. I mean, he had Parkinson's disease. Like there's a lot, and Ali is one of several that were never the same after boxing, right? So to me, that is more damaging to your legacy than getting in a ring with Jake Paul or Logan Paul and knocking him out. To me, seeing our heroes hurt and distraught and look human is a lot worse to the legacy than getting in there and making an easy 30, 40, 50 million, whatever he'll make beating up on Logan Paul. Seeing Ali up there shaking all the time, that is a bigger damage to the legacy. To me, that's just to me. I will say. Here's another thing. It's an exhibition match. So in some miraculous way, right? Some godforsaken way, Floyd Mayweather gets knocked out. Hell, let's just say like, he gets knocked out. It just won't happen. It's exhibition, right? It might live in meme infamy forever, right? But it won't count against his record. He'll still be 50-0, 51-0, whatever. Like he'll still have 50 professional fights and 50 professional wins. So that's just the thing. Like it won't affect him that way. Here's the other thing about the Floyd and Logan Paul fight. For Floyd, he made an interesting point. So Floyd Mayweather was on Club Shannon Sharp's podcast, and he said, like, because people said this, I call it a cash grab, because this is what it is. It's a cash grab by Floyd because you know you're gonna win. So you know it's like making a bet. You know it's gonna win. It's like you running a race, 100-yard dash, and you get a 90-yard head start. Like that's what this is, or 95-yard head start. So you know that that's gonna happen. Here's the thing about Floyd though. He said, "What's wrong with me having a cash grab?" Because some people are criticizing him for going out and getting some easy money. He's like, man, the Waltons still make money off Walmart. Bill Gates still makes money off Microsoft. Jeff Bezos makes money off Amazon. So why can't I continue to make money off something that I do? Something that I'm good at. Something that I know is a guaranteed return. A guaranteed return of millions. And that's boxing. And that's boxing against a non-boxer. That's boxing. Ask Floyd if he's going to get in the ring with Tank Davis. Hell no, he ain't getting in the ring with Gervonta or Terrence Crawford or Earl Spence or, you know what I'm saying, any of these guys. You get in the ring with them. These are professional boxers. These dudes will probably knock Floyd's head off at this point. But get in the ring with Logan Paul? Yeah, I'll take that. And I get $30 million to do it, to beat up on him like a punching bag? Yeah, I'll take that. To keep my skills tight? Yeah, I'll take that. Even at, how old is Floyd Mayweather? Floyd is in his 40s. Floyd Mayweather. He is in his Floyd Mayweather has kids the same age as Logan Paul. He is 43 years old. He is 43 years old. And he's going to get in this ring and school this dude. See, here's the thing. When Floyd actually fights 43 years old, and it's the top story everywhere, box YouTuber Logan Paul in February. Now, here's the thing about Floyd. Like I said, he's going to get in there. He's going to work Logan Paul. There were people that actually thought Conor McGregor was going to be Floyd Mayweather. There's people that really thought that. Like, there's people that took bets on Conor. Like, because Conor was a real fighter. Conor fought for a living. Conor, and some people had a realistic chance, right? Conor actually even caught Floyd a couple times in that fight. And it didn't faze him. It meant nothing. Floyd, one, doesn't get hit, but he got hit damn near on purpose, and it didn't faze him. This is from a professional fighter. Logan Paul is a YouTuber. I don't care if Logan Paul trained for 10 years. Floyd, he ain't got a chance in hell against Floyd Mayweather. But it is going to be interesting. It is entertainment, and it is going to be fun to watch. Because once again, half the pay-per-view buys when Floyd Mayweather fights are to see him lose. And people are going to want to see him lose. And I'm interested to see how it turns out. Once again, I'm Jeff Lightsey Jr. with the Black Boss Channel. Be sure to subscribe to the Black Boss Channel. Leave a thumbs up. Leave a comments down below and a thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up on your way out. Like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, guys, because we upload content all the time. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.